Welcome back to Pinocchio. 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 That's a bit out of my range. So, this is probably the last Pinocchio video. But I got some thoughts. If you've seen maybe the Disney movie, which I don't recommend, there's some striking differences between the book version and Disney's version of it in the movie. And I think Disney's version is poor, and I'll tell you why. First and foremost is that, well, in the Disney movie, Pinocchio is already a marionette. His body's already made, and then the magic fairy waves her wand, and Pinocchio becomes a living marionette. But that's not how it happens in the book. Remember how it happens in the book? He's just an ordinary block of wood. Remember this? Maestro Cherry finds him. Oh yeah, Maestro Cherry. Where is it here? As soon as he saw that piece of wood, Maestro Cherry was filled with joy. He says, "This has come to me just in the nick of time. I shall use it to make the leg of a table." He's just going to use the wood to make the leg of a table. But Pinocchio's already a living soul inside the unformed block of wood. How do you think Pinocchio would have liked his life, if you could call it that, his existence, as a block of wood made into a table leg? Spend your life as a table leg, Pinocchio. Remember, he's planing it here, and remember Pinocchio's face? Can you see Pinocchio's face in the wood there at the end? So he comes close at the very, very beginning to having a very miserable existence. But, as fate would have it, or heaven, Geppetto comes by, and Maestro Cherry wants to get rid of this troublesome block of wood, who takes it to make himself a marionette that will dance, fence, and turn somersaults. So Pinocchio, in a sense, is saved. Like in this very second chapter, he was almost going to be a table leg, a tool that someone used for their own purposes, not for Pinocchio. He wants to make a leg of a table, Maestro Cherry. But Geppetto wants to make him into a person. That's interesting. Okay, let me ask you what your purpose of school is. What's the purpose of school? Is it to make you into a tool for someone else to use? Or is it to help you become a person? A lot of times people say they're at school because they're there to get trained for a job. No, that's making you into a table leg. That would be a very miserable existence. School should help you learn to become a person, personhood. So here I think is a metaphor for what should happen with young people. Should they be used as tools for their future employers? Are teachers the agent of your boss that are now going to shape you to be a good employee and then deliver you to your boss so that your boss can use you as a tool for his own purposes? Now, not that that's necessarily bad. Lots of people have jobs. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with working a job. But in the end, Geppetto is there to help Pinocchio become a person. He shapes him into a person. And I would say that teachers are agents of parents. Because doesn't your parent want to help shape you into a person? Does your future boss, your future employer want to shape you into a person? No, that's just like an economic contract between you and your future employer. And you might even employ yourself. Yeah, so the purpose of school is to help young people grow into adulthood as people, not simply to be trained for a job. So right here in the beginning, I think is a fundamental understanding. Pinocchio's not even happy though being a marionette. Did you pick up on that? He's not satisfied with that. Right away, he's like, I'm not completely and totally happy being a marionette. He wants to become a real boy. So even as a marionette, Pinocchio realizes or has a desire for something greater than what he currently is, even in his marionette fashion. He's meant for something higher. He's meant for something greater. But then, how do you achieve it? That's the point of the story. Pinocchio's constantly looking for shortcuts, and he wants the quick fix, and oh, why can't I have it now, and so forth. And so he starts off being very foolish, almost a bit of a rascal. Doesn't he kill the cricket with a hammer? And the cricket's a metaphor for his conscience? Yeah, even if you try, you can't really silence your conscience. We know that the cricket comes back later on. Remember the cricket was one of the doctors? I know this boy. Pinocchio hides under the covers. Oh no. So yeah, what's your purpose in life? Your purpose, your telos in life, what you should be becoming, is a good adult. You'll have a job perhaps, and hopefully you'll be a good employee. But that's not the full purpose in life. That's the means of living. That's how you achieve the end goal. The end goal itself is living. Having a job and having money for food and clothing, shelter and stuff like that, and even some kind of satisfaction in your job that you're doing a good work and that you do the work well. That's a means. That's something that gets you something else. The end is life. And I think what Pinocchio wants in the end is living. He wants life, which is good. Secondly, the book doesn't shy away from all of these events that are very dangerous, life-threatening to Pinocchio. How many times is Pinocchio faced with death? Let's go back to the beginning where it's got that picture. Okay. Oh, well, he burned off his feet. Remember that? Oh my goodness, that's horrific. Yes. But a young child can recognize, oh no, there's consequences if you fall asleep with your feet on the fire. Then the assassins came, who almost got burned in the, well, let's just go through the pictures. He almost got burned to death to cook the director's dinner. Remember that? He goes to the play, and the director's like, oh, my dinner's only half cooked. Put that marionette in the fire, burn him. Pinocchio, oh my goodness, almost died. But was saved in the end, and even saves his friend, Harlequin. So Pinocchio can be brave here. He's saving the life of another. Oh, yes, and the fox and the cat, the liars, the swindlers, the thieves, the assassins. Remember, they try to kill Pinocchio. Hopefully you figured that out. Tell me you figured that out, yes. Each time something bad is going to happen to him, Pinocchio's warned. There's always a warning somewhere, but Pinocchio refuses to listen at first. He's dreaming about the field of wonders, and then the assassins come and like, oh my goodness. That's kind of scary. I'm not sure that we should let young children see this kind of a thing. Oh, yes, we should. At an appropriate level. But don't hide death or danger from them. Because Pinocchio learns to be brave. And you have to be afraid in order to be a bit brave. Now, no matter how old you are when you're watching this, even if you're an old man like me or older, do you ever get afraid? Yes, even as a grown-up man, but grown-up men feel afraid. Courage is doing what you need to do and even doing what is right when you are scared and afraid, stepping around your fear and doing what you need to do. You can't really be brave unless you are scared. Okay, the example I use is I wasn't too afraid of tying my shoes this morning. So can you say that I was very brave in going ahead and tying my shoes? No. I'm not afraid of tying my shoes at all. But I do remember a time when I was about 4 where I had anxiety over tying shoes, scared of it, made me cry, stuff like that. Couldn't do it. It's too complicated. And my mother, who was teaching me to tie my shoes, actually took a shoebox and punched holes in the top and actually made me a little pretend shoe that I could practice tying the shoelaces on. Because part of my frustration was when the shoe was on my foot, I had to bend over to do it, and that was awkward. And so she made me a little practice shoe to tie the laces on, and then so forth. But like, was I brave then? Hopefully, yes. At some point I got through with it. But courage is maybe one of the rarest of human virtues. Oh my goodness. And it's one of the 4 cardinal ones. There's 4 cardinal virtues. Courage is one of them. You should look the other ones up. They're so good. Anyway, Pinocchio learns to be brave. Oh, here he is, hung by the neck. But you can't really hang a marionette by the neck. It's not very effective. But still, like, oh my goodness, they're trying to kill him to get his money. Oh, what? Oh, yeah, there's the Dr. Cricket. Yes, I know that boy. And then he won't take his medicine. Remember that? And then like the rabbits come in to carry him off in the casket, and then he drinks his medicine, and the rabbit's like, rats, we came all this way for nothing. What do we do now? Anyway, he's learning to be brave, but he still is making foolish decisions. There's the field of wonders, and then he gets thrown in jail after being robbed. Wait, I thought you're supposed to throw the robbers in jail. Well, yeah, maybe them too. But he was so foolish. He should have seen it coming. There's a consequence to bad decisions. He gets out. There's the snake with the smoking tail. That was kind of a strange part of the story, I have to admit. I'm like, that was maybe more on the bizarre side. But oh my goodness, that's a scary picture there. Pinocchio's being brave, trying to go past the snake. He's not running away entirely. He goes back. He's learning to be brave. All of the virtues that adults have, that heroes have, courage, long suffering, faithfulness, honesty, all of that sort of stuff. Young children, no matter how young, can exhibit those, maybe on a smaller scale. But if we don't teach children how to be virtuous on a small scale, how do we expect grown-ups to be virtuous on a large scale? It doesn't work that way. So this is great, and this is good. We're not going to hide danger or even death from children at an appropriate level. He does the farmer a good service. He goes after his father. He goes to the island of the busy bees and doesn't want to work. Finally, the fairy coaxes him into doing some work, and surprise, she's alive. Yes, I'll be your mother. And then he goes to school, and then there's the fight. He stands up to the schoolboys. Oh man, oh my goodness. Standing up to a mob that wants you to join them in doing evil. Oh, that is such a good... Why is this not in the Disney movie? This is such a good moment for young people. Don't ever apologize to the mob. They won't be satisfied even if you apologize. Especially don't apologize for doing right to a mob. You stand up to them. No, I'm not going to move. You move. And if there's a fight, fight well. Tries to take care of his friend, whom he did not injure. See, he's starting to grow up, but he doesn't realize it. He almost gets fried in the pan like a fish. Come on. And then goes off to the land of toys. Another very bad, foolish decision. Turns into a donkey. Nothing left to do but be sold into slavery. And then he gets injured. And then he's going to be thrown into the water and drown. But it's interesting. He goes into the water completely hopeless, helpless, unable to do anything for himself. Oh, yeah, here we go. It's 7:45 where I am. What time is it where you are? Of course, time to finish the story. Although, finish talking about the story. And then through somehow the power of heaven, he comes out a completely changed and restored creature. Into the water, old and dead, out new and alive. That's interesting. And then he goes on a search for his father and saves his father. And you remember this, he told his father, at the very beginning of the book, I'll be your comfort and help in your old age. And here he is, he's doing it. He's telling the rascals, goodbye, false friends. He's not going to be tricked again. He works to take care of his father. What else? Saves up money to buy himself stuff, but actually turns out his mother, the fairy, is old and in a home or the hospital, and he says, here, take this. So he's self-sacrificing, not just working for himself, he's working now for other people. And it's almost like he's forgotten that he wants to become a real boy. And then he wakes up, and then surprise, it's happened. It's when he kind of quit looking for the shortcut and quit looking for the easy route and just started to do what was good. And slowly, and then surprise, he wakes up and, oh my goodness, how silly I was as a marionette and how happy I am now that I'm a real boy. So, it's the resolution here, I guess point number 3, the resolution's not cheap. In the movie, the Disney movie, at the end of the movie, the fairy just says, oh, I like you, Pinocchio, magic wand. And it's just, surprise, that's not how life really happens. The resolution's not cheap. Pinocchio learns that a lot of what he suffers is due to his own bad choices, and he repents of them and repudiates them. And it takes time for that to fully emerge. He's got to be in a correct relationship with his father. and then with his sister, the fairy, and then the fairy becomes his mother, and also then with his mother. So family first, and then in the correct relationship with other people. There's obviously the grace of heaven, time and time after again. Somehow, miraculously, Pinocchio is rescued, and it's providential. Heaven looks after us. We should pay attention, but there are no shortcuts. And so, in the end, I think Pinocchio is a great and good story for growing up. And so, it's a good metaphor. What's the purpose of your life? To become a full adult, fully formed to the maximum of your human potential. And so that's why I like the story of Pinocchio. So I hope you enjoyed it. And as it says, let us pursue goodness, truth, and also beauty. Bye bye.